on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. Happy New Year. This is the state of wrestling, and that is still Jake fucking DeMarco. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, yeah. What's going on, my friends? Happy New Year, one and all. I am very excited to be here. You and I have a lot to cover and a lot to look forward to. This month is jam-packed. Already, we've been spoiled with some of the stuff we've gotten wrestling-wise, and it only gets better.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those things where, unfortunately, I ended up flying solo on the weekend because I wanted to give my early thoughts on the debut SmackDown we got last week. But I think it's kind of a good thing, and it's kind of like work management control or whatever you want to call it, because in 48 hours, I said this to you in messenger form.
Yes.
Not everything is great, but WWE gave us a lot of stuff. They gave us much for muchness.
That's exactly how we felt over on Into Somewhere. You know, Cody and I agreed. We were like, it was probably the best thing of the week while still not being great.
Yeah.
And that also says
I think
something.
there's a weird thing that happens, like, especially at times like this, when when we said this all towards the tail end of last year. You go into the new year, there's a special episode, there's an anniversary episode, there's a themed episode, there's a mini pay-per-view episode, and you just get a lot of stuff. And I think at some point, this is not to say that there's not good and bad, because trust me, for you, those of you out there that know how WWE I am, I'm going to come down hard on a couple of things. Pause. But I think it reached a point where it's like there's no more good, there's no more bad. It's just a lot. And the fact that we're not really going to talk about SmackDown too much tonight, and Raw and NXT are back to back, and it all happened in a sort of a condensed 48 hours. It was like, here's all the adrenaline, good and bad.
Yeah, they started a lot, they did a lot, they said a lot. Not everything landed, but it wasn't terrible because like there's things that needed to happen, I think, to get back to where we were before. And a lot of what was really good was obviously the mid-card stuff. It was the women's mid-card, it was the tag division, it was, you know, the men's mid-card. Like there was and then pretty much the outlier was either Cena or Cody. You know, like that it's been one of them for the last 2 years.
I think one of the things you and I ended up saying quite a bit last year, and I aim this at NXT a lot because, you know, still focusing on NXT because it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
There's certain episodes where it's like, I'm not really excited coming out of that episode, but they did move a lot of pieces. It was a very structural episode.
And without those, the other ones wouldn't be as exciting. That's
fantastic. But I think what they've done in the past 48 hours, or now 72 hours ago, is they did 2 very functional episodes that were also exciting, noteworthy discussion points, whether good or bad. So I think they hit the best of both worlds with these. I don't think Stranger Things episode came off like a pay-per-view. I don't even really think New Year's Evil, which, like we said before, I think should be a pay-per-view, came off particularly pay-per-view-ish. As some of them have in the past. But they did a lot and a lot of stuff, and
there's a lot
of
like you said, I hate to quote the wise Spaz Phoenix, but yeah, a lot of pieces were moved and things are moving. So I can't complain like, oh, nothing's advancing like the main roster where they take forever to move story. NXT doesn't have that problem. Things are constantly progressing. Sure. So that's at least a positive. I try not to focus on the negatives. You know, I want to look at the positives. I want to enjoy this. You don't want to get burnt out. But my big issue, like, you know, there's certain things that stuck out about it, and I know we'll get into all of it. But my big issue is something that NXT can't help, and it's the nature of the beast. It's the call up.
When we get to, because we're gonna tackle Monday Night Raw first. When we get to NXT, it's a very solid show for me, in the sense of there's a lot of things I like, but equally, if somebody told me they hated it, I would understand.
Yeah,
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that from this week's NXT.
It was the dichotomy between, because we were very split on it ourselves over here, and it was just hard to digest, basically.
Well, if everybody agrees on everything, we don't get good conversations. Right?
Absolutely, and that's the pleasure of it. But I will get into
don't
that
hop on
when
X. There's no good conversations happening on X today. Jesus
not
Christ.
One to be found. But if we go ahead,
Jake, I will say, Jake, you and I might disagree. I am going to ask you, please resist the urge to hit me with your car. Okay?
I will
Can we
do
agree
my
on that?
I will do my
Alright.
best.
Alright, and I'll keep it in the holster and
I
everything
know
will be
you're
fine.
up top, so there's you oh, you are strapped in.
Ah, pause,
Whoa,
pause,
I
pause,
didn't
pause.
even move
Okay,
towards you.
so Monday
Granted,
Night Raw.
before we even get to Raw, I'm surprising you because I too want to come hard. Oh, this ties into Monday Night Raw, but I'm not straying too far off topic. What do you
Okay.
think, sir, with a surprise question about
Oh,
Chris
no.
Jericho's debut? Like, is this happening? Did you think it was happening Monday, like a lot of people did? WWE put out like a little bit of news saying, "Oh, we didn't realize people would think us saying break the walls down was hinting towards Jericho. We were talking about the upside down and the Stranger Things tie-in." My ass. They knew what they were doing.
Of course. They
They
did
were
the exact same thing that was totally okay when Britt Baker on Dynamite called herself the boss,
yes.
way before they planned on. And you know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I think people came at the time, anyways. People came down too hard on Dynamite for that, and I think it's get worked. It's okay to get worked.
I'm less of that and I was more just not even whelmed, but you know, not fully underwhelmed. I was more whelmed, I would say. But it was a
Yeah.
miss on Monday. Raw was a miss for me overall because they
Yep.
hyped it up to be on the level of last year, if not greater, and it did not compare whatsoever.
Which is funny because a lot of people still now a year out say that last year's was shit. Now, the stuff with Cody and The Rock and whatever fell flat because Rock's
Last
gonna
year's was
rock.
shit, but it was memeable, memorable, and had highlights. You know, like Undertaker coming out for to basically I fuck Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley, and then
It was it
Hogan
was
getting
it was the
booed.
way it was the way they used to do like a retro show or, "Oh my god, look at all these people we have in the back." I think everything they tried last year, they tried for some nostalgia stuff, they tried for some guest spots and all that one night stuff.
Yeah,
This show, less of that, but they had the cool theme with the Stranger Things tie-in, and I got more coming out of Raw than I got watching Raw, is about the as fair as I can be, because I don't think it popped on the night. It told me you're gonna pop soon.
yeah,
And on a longer timeline, that's better. Now, quickly, the Stranger Things tie-in, stylistically was all right. Graves had the Hellfire shirt on. Michael Cole was very honest about like, I don't know what the fuck this is. They did a couple of the like the camera tricks with the, like you as you say with the upside down. They had a couple of props here and there that some of the
yeah.
wrestlers were having a bit of fun with.
But did they even have
The
any of the stars there? Did
No,
I thought I'm like maybe I missed something like because I missed the first like 6 minutes of Raw, so I had to check the attack and the beatdown, all that kind of stuff.
mm.
I mean, yeah, I had to check into all that, and
It
I
was
was
a
like,
theme. It
okay,
wasn't necessarily a cooperative
yeah,
whatever. Here's what I'm gonna say, right? It was one of those things where it was kind of disappointing to me, and I'm gonna lean the other way and say that might be okay. Because me, I like Stranger Things. I think, okay, problems with the last season aside, I think it's a great show. I think, especially in its early days, it took everybody by storm. It was the topic of conversation for a long time, and it was a lot of fun, and it wrapped up relatively decency. There's a couple things that I could say, but I'm not gonna say because you can't say any opinions. But my point
without
being,
being canceled.
well, not only canceled, but just even the people that like were not talking about those type of issues, but just talking about, oh, well, this should have been this and this should have been that. Like, there's a just other than the identity politics stuff, which is going to be in there. It's one of those things where everybody has their opinion on where the show should have gone, and obviously
Yeah,
we waited too long for the last season and all that kind of thing, right?
certainly.
But here's where I want to give it a bit of grace, right? It's something that I like. Of course, I would have liked to see more. I
Yeah,
think about every time they tie in a musician that I don't really care for, anytime they bring in real sport people that I don't care about because I'm not really a sports person. And my immediate thought is okay, don't care about this guy. Can we get back to the show? There's going to be people that look at the Stranger Things tie-in like that.
Yeah.
So for the crowd as a whole, and yes, I'm giving a wide berth here,
It
but for the
wasn't
crowd,
Travis Scott worthy, you know?
no, it wasn't. And it didn't overwhelm the show because I still wanted, like, I thought the tie-in was cool. I still wanted the show to be a wrestling show.
No
I
doubt.
didn't want it to be like everybody cosplaying for the night. Like
Yeah,
Corey
I didn't want
Graves,
them in the upside down
yeah,
fighting, monsters and
no.
saving people.
And like they had like the cheapest vines on the railing that they could find, and they
Yeah.
had like the radio van from the Squawk, and then they had the Chips Ahoy boat in the back because people were hanging out in that. I think it was like the Creeds or whatever. Like
Yeah.
there was a couple little nods here and there.
But it
It
was
was
more
across,
like what you would get at WWE World if it was like, look at the themed diorama.
yeah.
Like that was how it
It
felt.
didn't encroach itself on the show. And you know what? That's pretty fair when you're going with one specific, sort of IP that not everybody's going to be into. Because not everybody's into the horror stuff, not everybody's into
No.
supernatural stuff. People complain about supernatural wrestlers.
But there's a huge enough
So
momentum wave right now behind this show that
there
it
is.
feasibly could have brought in eyes of people
It could have,
either
yeah.
that
Well,
don't
there's
watch
a different
wrestling or do but haven't in a long time. And for them not to have the stars there, 11 should have been there. What the hell's her name? I always forget.
Millie Bobby Brown.
There we go. Like they should have. It should have been priority. Netflix has the
I get
pull.
that.
They put every other Netflix star there.
But do you know what it is though?
Felt like a
What it
sleight
is
of
right now,
hand.
because of the Netflix tie-in, and if you watch like on social media, which I'm on way too much, every time they stop to interview anybody, the immediate reaction from a lot of people is, "Oh my god, why the fuck are they wasting time talking to this person and that person?"
Yeah.
So if they're seeing that, I can understand them not doing it. I'm happy it didn't encroach on the show. I like the creepy, spooky stuff. I said it last 2 weeks ago that you could have had the Wyatt Six there
Yeah, I was
for
going to
one
say
night,
that's
interacting
ridiculous
with a
that they
Demigorgon
didn't.
or whatever, something like that,
How do
or
you
some
fuck
kind of
that
brief
up?
spot.
Like Spaz,
Eh,
how do
I
you
know,
fuck that
I get
up?
it,
I mean, that's
I get
just
it,
a
I get it.
the
They could have
shape
done
is
more
coming.
because it's something that I like. I don't mind that they didn't because the rest of the show gave me enough to talk about.
Okay.
And that's, but I do like, but I did like the dynamic between Corey Graves and Michael Cole right at the beginning. Corey Graves clearly sort of knows what he's in on and what he's talking about, coming out with the Hellfire shirt and all that. Michael Cole stepping out with like, "Oh, I guess I should have dressed up," and very clearly being like, "Yeah, this is not my thing. It's fine."
Yeah.
Is honest, and it's the kind of honesty that you wouldn't have gotten from WWE not that long ago. So, in the spirit of honesty, let's start at the bottom. Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree, the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
This was confusing.
This was bad, man.
This was
I would
really
love to give
bad.
these two. I would love to give these two credit. I've loved what they've tried to do with Maxine. This was a shit show, man.
I was
Like,
hoping and praying
I
that you
hate
liked
saying
it.
that.
I wanted you to like it so bad because I was hoping that you would be able to explain to me what the frick happened here.
No,
Because
I got nothing. I got
no,
nothing for
they
you, buddy.
trained her for all these weeks in the
Yep.
dungeon to make her look like a legit badass. We never saw Natty with her. It was just like,
Yep.
hey, she trained me, and it all mattered not. She still lost to Becky in
When
the end. Her only successful
there was
defense
one-
was Ivy Nile.
There was one big move that they totally where she went to go for the backpack thing and she went down and Becky just kind of stood there. And
Yeah.
even on commentary, they're like, "What the fuck was that?" But what killed me more, and it wasn't as egregious, but I don't know why I could say, but for some reason it bothered me more. Where Becky went to throw her out of the ring and she just sort of like delicately stepped through the ropes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just bad.
It just
It's just bad, and
it looked like they were dancing, not like they were wrestling. It looked like Maxine was like, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Like you could almost see her counting with her
me-
lips at times. It was very bad.
and I don't say this from a point of criticism, like I don't do what they do and whatever. To me, watching the gut feeling that I got is she missed something early and never got her groove back.
Oh,
And
I almost
I'm
know what
not-
it
I'm
was.
not
It was some type of reversal very early on.
Yeah.
She came way too hard into Becky, and Becky ended up falling down. Yeah, it came way too
Okay.
hard. Pause. So Becky like stumbled, and from there on back, nothing. Like she
Yeah.
just, you were spot on with that. It just seemed like she couldn't pick herself back up.
What's it? I think the movie is, I think it's Top Gun when they're all in the locker room and one of them starts talking about quicksand. And, like, once you're in it, the more you struggle to get out of it, the more, the more you get into it and the stress gets to you and the
Yep.
anxiety gets to you and all that type of thing.
The
I'm
deeper
not
you
saying this
sink.
with any sort of malice towards either one of them. I mean, Becky's a pro. Becky's gonna try and pull something out of it, and you could tell she was trying to pull something out of it. Maxine Dupree was playing the role of the, "Oh my god, I can't believe I won this title. Should I even be here?" While she's actually also doing that in real life.
Yeah.
And when you see the comparisons between that and something we're going to talk about on NXT later, it kind of makes you sad a little bit because you're like, okay, this was bad, but at the same time, don't give up on this person because
Yeah.
it might have been a bad night. Kind of like the old Vince mentality of, oh, Finn got injured. That means we can never give him the title again.
Yeah, he's done
Like
for
that
us.
that kind of thing, right?
And
So
that
it
is
was
a
real
detriment
bad.
to a lot of people's careers. And like you said, it was so bad. I worry that the fans soured on her and are
Yeah.
not going to be excited to see her try and
See
get
that? Okay,
revenge.
that I don't agree because I got the vibe from the fans. How can I say this? Kind of like early days black and yellow NXT, where the biggest thing was you could tell the fans were there to have fun and
Yeah.
they wanted the show to be good. There was a vibe throughout the fans, at least throughout the middle of the match, where it felt like, yeah, this is falling apart, but we can sort of will them on to like get it back on track.
I should
So I
specify
don't.
then, because I'm saying more like this is what I've seen on social media following
Okay. Okay.
people there seem to enjoy a lot of things, but the live effect is so hard to not
Barclays was, I will say, and
they
let's
weren't
not
as hot as they
be
usually are, but they were.
okay. You hit it on the head. I'm like, I enjoyed the show. I will say it was noticeable how quiet the crowd was. They came up for some stuff, but not so much for others.
No, not as much as they
Bad,
usually are.
yeah, especially Barclay, who have Barclay Center because they're there more than they're at MSG now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this is your New York spot now, and they kind of take that on as a fan base. So they
And you
were
can't even
quiet,
say
wasn't
like,
hitting.
okay, it's one or two, or it's like matches, or
Yeah.
it's the arena, because it was
Yeah.
all night and the arena has been very loud before. Cody's been there himself, and so has other people that I spoke to, and they were like,
It
yeah,
was
no, it's
it was
just
back in the takeover days. It was a constant. Let's go back to the Barclay Center
exactly.
for takeovers because of how the crowd was. But again, that was a different era and a different brand of WWE as well. So we'll stick with the bad news for now. Stephanie Vacour, kayfabe injured to cover up for some real injuries is the story going around.
Yeah.
Came out with the boot on. Basically gave a her version of a rah-rah speech, which is really good. Really like
Yeah.
Stephanie. Stephanie's got star power for days.
Her language
Basically
has
came out to
improved
say,
greatly.
well, yeah, but even when she's not speaking English, she's still got a way about her that
Oh,
translates,
certainly.
right?
I just wanted to give her credit as well,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And the fact that she's come out so openly about working on that makes people focus on it more, and I
Yes.
kind of think that's unfair, like in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
she's
but
talked about struggling with this, so yeah, put a bigger microscope on her. Good fucking job. But she basically came out to do a very typical babyface champion rah rah speech. Yeah, I've got the boot on. I had an amazing year last year. And every time she says I won 4 belts last year, I forget that they're counting the Crown Jewel Championship as a
yes.
championship.
I know, which
But
is
but
bizarre, but hey, all right.
it's bizarre, but, like,
Can't deny it.
if you're the babyface cutting the promo, you wanna say you had 4 belts.
Yeah.
It's not the same as 14, mind you,
No.
but you wanna say you had the 4, and then she gets taken
And
out
talk about her
by
losing, huh? That was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think they were gonna do that
happy for
yet.
Willow.
Right? I
Happy for
am
Willow.
too, but
That little trio now in the women's division of Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Harley Cameron is a lot of fun, and they're gonna take on the
Babes of Wrath.
toxic spiders and whatever. I like Thekla too. She's weird.
Yeah,
I like her. Big surprise.
it's
But she
getting
got taken out by
better.
Raquel, and Raquel we've talked about Raquel quite a bit. Like, she talked about very openly getting all the advice that she got from, like, Undertaker and Kevin Nash about how to be the big guy,
Yes.
except she's the big girl. And she's come on leaps and bounds, and she owns it as this, bigger, stronger powerhouse type character. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she got over all the medical shit she was dealing with as well, because that
Yeah, I
sounded
know.
terrible. I wish I cared more. I
Yeah.
care, like, as a person, like, as a person, like, optimistically, yes, you have come on leaps and bounds. You have put in the work and you have gotten better. As a human being, you were dealing with this. I'm glad you're over it. It seems like you're doing okay right now. Those are all,
Yep.
like, practical things. I wish I cared about her as a character.
I know. And can I say
I
something
really
as
do.
well? I don't know why it's not you either. It's kind of ingrained in us though that we have to announce these qualifiers before we say things like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, but we still do the we still like it should be obvious and people should know it, but like people can criticize you on so much
Oh, no, but
today
I
that
want I wanna say it because, like, the fact that I don't care about her as a character
oh,
doesn't mean
yeah,
that exactly. I know
exactly.
caveats are everything. You have
Yeah,
to put on
but
27 caveats before you
it's
talk
just
about
something
Sasha
I've
Banks being
noticed
trash.
recently that kind of
Oh,
was
yeah.
illuminated here. Like, how sad is it that we have
Mhm.
to have these special announcements nowadays because
Oh, yeah.
people want to assume the worst instead of taking things as
Well,
intended.
yeah, and you're absolutely right. In this case, I'm sort of using it to build my point. It's like,
Oh yeah,
I can see that she's improved. Why
yes,
don't I care? She's come over all these things in real life that, human to human, I'm happy for her. So why isn't it translate
yeah.
my
Because I've
question
had the
is,
same issue too.
I see all these positive things. Why isn't it translating into me caring about her as a character? But
Yeah,
I mean, apparently, she doesn't actually have, like, a broken foot, but the broken foot, the cast, the walking boot, the attack from Raquel is meant to just excuse her being off TV for a couple of weeks to sort of take it kinda like, what they did with Damian Priest, where it's like,
yeah,
"You've got all these knock-on injuries, we're gonna get you to take it you're here, you've established yourself, we
yeah.
see what you can do, please take a breath,"
And they
you
didn't
know?
strip her of the title, so
No.
that's interesting too because they make
When she
everybody
came out
let
with the
go of
boot
things quick.
and
Yeah, I
when
thought
she
I was
came out
like,
with
"Oh,
the
that's
boot and
it."
the title, I thought it was gonna be a
Mhm.
relinquishment.
I was like, "Vacant's
Um,
back."
oh my god.
But Vacant
Speaking
didn't
of,
show up.
we'll stick in with the Judgment Day, and we're sort of pulling out of the negatives now. Technically, other than house shows, the on TV comeback match for Liv Morgan gets a win over Lyra Valkyria. Shenanigans from Roxy and Bailey on the outside. The match was what it was, and it's more or less just me taking a minute to say, "Hey, we've got Liv back," and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's
And
great to have Liv back.
she's got the clear shirt that makes it look like she has Mysterio tattooed on her stomach.
Yes, and, hey, the outfit, the whatever you wanna call it, uniform, it looks
Yeah.
great now, I like the whole setup. Here's the
Mm,
thing, though. I
mm.
was very excited to see her back, and again, I feel like she just I don't know what it was, if it was Lyra, if it was all the outside interference, and a lot of the focus was on Becky and everybody else
Mm.
outside. I felt like
You mean Bailey?
Ly well, yeah, no, but I'm saying I feel like Lyra was an afterthought because
Mm.
of all the focus being on Bailey. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. You got me. And
I think it's because, like, I get what you're saying.
yeah,
I think it works in this case because they don't want your resounding memory to be Lyra lost a match.
yeah,
They had her in there to be the body so that Liv
Liv
can have
could,
her comeback match.
yes.
In this case, it actually works out as a positive.
Okay.
In general, though, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. See, I'm glad
I'm not entirely sure what they're doing with Lyra. I don't know what her and Bailey, like,
it's
everybody's a bit
very ass
crazy.
backwards feeling. Like it's
Mm.
like okay, we've seen this and now we either we missed something as an audience, like we missed a scene and
Yeah.
there's some major
Now
development we're not getting
there's gonna
or
be a tag match out of it.
yeah, we know
Like,
that's coming, but
Liv and Roxanne are gonna put themselves in that hunt for the ladies tag
tag
titles.
titles, yeah.
And I think they've done the diversion of, oh, she was gonna come back and immediately fuck with Roxanne because Roxanne, like, was serving up chicken nuggies to,
To
to
Dum
Dom while
Dum.
she was gone.
Yep.
But the fact that she's almost, like, being a
Cordial
being a
and
thorn no,
helpful.
no, being a thorn to Raquel
Oh, yes. Well,
and buddying up to Roxy, it's like,
yeah,
first I
that's what I was
swerve left
referring to
so
with
that I could swerve
Roxanne,
right
yeah,
later on type of thing, yeah.
because 'Cause she's been
But,
very, buddy-buddy with Roxanne, surprisingly, so that was like, "Alright, I see what they're doing," they're gonna have her go ahead and do the stab you in the back type thing, revenge of the revenge. But
But I think you get 2 different things out of this though, right? You get the story of
yeah.
eventually she's gonna turn, eventually they're gonna have a wicked match. In the meantime, while we're pretending we don't know that that's happening, I think her and Roxanne as a tag team are gonna be good.
Oh, absolutely.
Until you get to the swerve. Even though it'll be if they do turn out to be as coherent a tag team as I think they're going to be, I think we'll appreciate it more because we can see down the line that there's gonna be a turn. So enjoy it on the basis of it's here for a good time, not a long time.
Yes. Just like, Live for Brutality and others, it's like, hey, this
Yeah.
is gonna be memorable. People are gonna want it more, but it's gonna be a while before you get it again. So just
But yeah.
keep that in mind.
I enjoyed the match. I do think, like, people don't know what to think of Lyra as a character, and I
Yeah.
think it's making them not your and I'm like, again, I'm gonna say, like, not yourself and,
Hey, you can
not
save
me,
me if you want,
but
but
I think people not getting her quite as a character or seeing what they're doing with her and Bailey's crazy and whatever, I think what's getting lost in the shuffle is Lyra's fucking solid in the ring.
oh, absolutely.
And you want and, like, people this is why I say it. I didn't wanna make sure I wasn't speaking for you,
No,
but, like,
but it
in the
gets
realm
missed.
of she gets those names that, like, help and hurt you at the same time. She gets the names like, she's solid, she's dependable, she's reliable. You know who gets those names? The Dolph
Yeah,
Zigglers of the world.
exactly. The ones that don't win the championships, the ones that are looking up at the lights.
Mm.
And
I
that
think
is the sad reality.
long term, you could toss her over onto SmackDown.
Oh,
Get her in that Chelsea Julia Mia Yim
yeah.
women's US title mix. I think you could mix her Lyra and Kiana James feels like a match that
Bolt on
could
tits. Yeah,
happen.
and that's the
I don't know.
thing. We're getting Jordan Grace as well, Sol Ruka, Zarya. I mean, there's quite a few
Oh
people
yeah.
that are supposly, already signed, already up, and or coming up. So
Well,
Cody
you
keeps
did
saying send everybody to SmackDown, but
a lot of them are gonna go to SmackDown for very obvious reasons, but I mean, let's talk about who is coming to Raw or who did come to Raw, except we didn't see it because it happened during the commercial break.
I
Adam
saw
Pearce
this and
brought
didn't
out
know it was a commercial break. So when people were like, "Yeah, I didn't
oh,
see it,"
so
I'm
you
like,
actually
"Wait,
did see it.
yes, I saw this live."
This
And
is
I
one of
was
those
using the
things that
streaming site because I wasn't home
everybody's
yet.
different,
So
right?
I was using, yeah,
Because
good old reliable pirate ship.
again, as I say, I'm gonna put it out there, our friends over at the Wrestling for Life Network doing the best watch-alongs in the business,
Yes,
and
indeed.
obviously KJ's from up here in Canada, and Nick is, down, on your side of the border there,
Yes.
and the differences between streams, and sometimes one's on commercial, one's on and the other's on the other commercial, and sometimes both of them are either in or out of commercial, compared to what I'm watching.
Yes.
Everybody's getting something a little different,
Which is very weird, but
and
very true.
that's a bit twitchy. And I know in depending on where you are in the world, like there's different like completely commercial free tiers of Netflix and all these different layers and levels and
Yeah.
unnecessary complications or whatever. Either you are subscribed or you're not. Like, can we just
But
even if that
I
okay,
think for WWE content, there's no level that doesn't get some type of commercial break on Netflix.
which is no, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not like
Who's not
the pro
international, funny enough.
yeah.
Internationally, you don't get
But what
commercials
I'm
on
saying
Netflix.
is and this might be like a really wishy-washy thing to say. Up until last year when they hopped over to Netflix, every version, no matter where you were watching Raw, had some type of commercial breaks.
Yes.
I'm saying
Now.
commercial breaks or not, just make everybody on the same plane so you can all talk about what we're seeing and what we're not seeing.
Yep.
It's like watching like if you miss SmackDown and you catch it after the fact and all the commercials have been cut out and the episode's like an hour and 20 minutes
Yep.
or not anymore, but
No. But that was one
um
of the things I kind of like about Raw lately is the fact that it's 2 hours and like 20, maybe 30 minutes, but it's not
yeah,
the full 3 hours. That's the sweet spot I think they need to be
yeah.
at. But because they're still on network with this shit, they can't
Mm.
quite get there.
Well, they could with NXT before they went to CW when they were still on USA.
Yeah.
NXT was getting overruns quite a bit, and then
Yes.
when they went over to CW, that was one of the first things that they said, "Okay, yeah, we're really going to tighten this up. It's really going to be." That's where you had like a
That's where
lot
they
of
had their
shows that in
issues
here
at first.
where they
Yeah.
had the issues and the cutoffs and whatnot, and they had to release the like the last minute on WWE.com or something.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were tripping out. A lot of people were, oh my God, this is so disrespectful. Obviously, the immediate accusations of like, oh, WWE is racist. There they are again. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, they kind of pooched Javon
Yeah,
Evans by introducing him in a commercial break. They've also featured him on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA, AAA.
exactly.
Look at what they're doing with Oba. Look at how they introduced Trick Williams. Look at what they're doing with Carmelo Hayes. Look at the great job they're even doing with somebody like Lash Legend, who I'm not saying it disparagingly,
No,
isn't quite the finished article just yet, and they're still
no.
treating her with
They're
the
letting her
and putting
get
her.
great experience.
Yeah. Well, giving her great experience, and they've put her with somebody that can help her be what she is,
Yeah,
because she's a wrecking ball. They put her with Nia Jax, who, what do we say? Other than Kenny Omega, I can't think of a bigger turnaround that I've done on anybody as Nia Jax recently.
right.
Pause. Because she's a wrecking ball.
Big pause.
Lash Legend is a wrecking ball. They
Wrecking
are
ball.
the Legion of Doom of the women's division right now. Like, so they took the stars and presented them like stars, and they took the people that still have a little bit to go and still presented them like stars. Javon Evans got introduced in a commercial break. Was it bad timing? Yes. Is he going to kick ass on Raw? Also, yes.
I think they did it so that because he's got a heavy internet following, anyways, and I think they
Yeah.
thought like, oh, let's not take away from the show. We'll have him be featured online because he was like one of the main things on .com and on
Mhm.
what do you call it there?
Well, it's like,
Their
what's his
Twitter
name?
site. So
The streamer guy on TNA just signed his official
BDE,
contract.
yeah,
Yeah. And before he signed his contract, he was interviewing other people like right after they got their contract signed. And then he
yeah.
like he like interviewed himself.
How
So
cool
like
is
shout out to
that?
that
You know,
shout out
yeah.
to that guy as well.
Brandon does everything
But
has really come a long way. I mean, he's talked about it for years. I want to be a wrestler. I want to be a wrestler. I'm going to do it.
yeah.
Finally gets in there, does it, makes a name for himself, and now he's fucking signed to TNA. You
And
know, from YouTube to TNA, it's incredible.
speaking of which, another great, wonderful, fantastic, the best, so great, so wonderful, another great personality from the internet realm, from the YouTube, from the streaming realm, that
Ooh,
just already had a contract, but just signed his long-term, full-time WWE contract. Logan Paul.
yes, indeed. He didn't say for how long, but he said this makes him a full-time star. So it's definitely
Yeah.
a lengthy one indeed.
I think
And
they're gonna team him with Austin Theory, and you know what? I don't mind it.
no, I like the pairing. That's literally what I was about to say. You know, I don't mind him and Austin Theory. I kind of hope they elaborate on that and we see more of
Mhm.
them two. I think because they said that the Division wants the tag team titles, so let the boys go and get the tag team
I mean,
titles.
Austin Theory kind of came back as like the Backstreet Riders, but
Yeah. Hey,
it is what it is.
it
I
is.
like Austin Theory. I don't know why people take the piss out of Austin Theory. He's good.
I think it was
He's
just
not.
because it was easy to when certain things
I
like,
mean,
oh, you're
I think
Vince's
for
boy, or like
yeah,
that kind
and
of
you know
stuff.
what? Fuck off. So was Drew, and everybody loves Drew. So what are we doing
But
here?
Drew also had to go through quite the turmoil of a change and learning and dealing and
The trifecta. Okay, I'm sorry. I said this on Smack when I talked about SmackDown, and you weren't here, so I'll say it here again. The
yes.
trifecta of guys that came to WWE, left WWE, got bigger, came back better. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and now Matt Cardona.
Yes. Awesome
The
that he
transition
got his
on
name as well.
SmackDown. But the fact that he came out to the woo 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 and then it changed over into his new music, I
Yes.
thought that was really interesting. And the
Great
fact that
touch.
on commentary they were calling it the car ride now instead of the Rough Rider.
Yeah, the car ride made me
Uh,
chuckle. You know
what
what?
is it?
But
What is it? Oh my God! There's the Rough Rider. Can we call it that?
again, the fact that they don't have that foresight for a lot of things, because one of the issues is with, like I said before, NXT not knowing that people are going to get called up and it happens in a week's time, which we'll get
Mhm.
to. And then in this case, as we said, like they're not always told what's happening, what's going to go down. And I mean, it worked, but it could have
You
been
know
a
what though? I'm
disaster
not. I'm
too.
not pushing. I'm not pushing the idea that being unorganized is a good thing. But if something happens last minute, there's less chances of it being spoiled.
But he should have been Matt Cardona in the Cena tournament if he was going to be hired. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'll defend that because he was in the Cena tournament because he had a feud with Cena. back in the day. And
Yes.
that feud was with Zack Ryder.
Oh, I
It's
understand
it's
that.
it, it's a
I'm just saying,
it's a shitty pass that I'm giving them there.
yeah,
I fully acknowledge that it's a shitty pass, but I'm also
but
going to stick
hey,
to it.
I
Um,
don't dispute
I
that.
wouldn't I wouldn't I wouldn't okay, here's the thing. I wouldn't make the same defense for them bringing back Nick Nemeth as Dolph Ziggler for the night.
Yeah.
I don't know why I look at it differently, but I just yeah. Zack Ryder with his spiky hair and his neck brace being pushed off the rampway after John Cena made out with his girlfriend. Who was that? That was Eve Torres, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That was before they did like the
Embrace
everybody
the
versus
hate.
everybody. No, the everybody versus everybody like managers match at WrestleMania that
Yeah,
had like
and
14 people in it.
she betrayed him, kicked him
And she
in the
betrayed
ding
him and kicked
dong.
him in the dick. Ah,
Mhm.
there's my big WrestleMania moment. Oh, I can't see straight.
She went ahead, she
Okay.
lined up, and she kicked him right in the, you know it.
In the woo woos.
I literally played the woo as you played the woo. You said woo woos.
Nice. Nice. You know what
Couldn't
else
have
makes me
timed that
go?
better.
You know what else makes me go woo woo?
What's that?
Rhea Ripley,
Yes.
along with the Io Sky, becoming the
Mm.
new women's tag team champions. Jesus, just do the good things.
Like, I'm
This is
excited they won, but they ruined the Kabuki Warriors to the end by having them get beat by everybody. And I mean everybody. They lost to Nia and Lash. They lost to Rhea and Io. They lost to Charlotte and Alexa. They lost it. Like, they were just getting their ass beat all around. Now it's like, it's good that Rio is a thing and that they got the tag titles. I just hope they give them a better reign.
I'm just happy that there's finally a good Riho in wrestling.
Yes. Hey, and that Riho is actually, maybe heading to Mania with this. You never know. It could happen. The problem
I
right now
think
is that a lot of the issues with Raw and surrounding it is that you just have characters. Because how do you prepare for the Rumble? I'm gonna declare for the Rumble. Like, that's really it. There's not. Sometimes you have to qualify, rarely, but there's not much more. So it's hard to get a lot of story heading into the Rumble besides your own story, like your own trials and tribulations. I don't believe in
I
myself. I
think
need
okay,
to.
for the Rumble, I think they're gonna play it a little bit safe with the build to the Rumble because
Yeah.
they know that people are already getting an itchy asshole about the Royal Rumble because it's in Saudi and they're already getting those conversations geared up. So
Yep.
let's just tiptoe into it, nice and easy. Give them 2 good Rumbles, give them 2 good winners. Um, yeah, I don't know. I said, Brock Lesnar and Tessa Blanchard should win, but that's just me.
Hey,
No, that's absolutely not true. Liv Morgan and Sami Zayn are still my picks
I
because
like the Morgan one, but
CM Punk's gonna win the chamber, and yeah, he's gonna face Cody Rhodes because that's how it should be. That's how it should have been since his return. But
so Punk should have
it's still
lost in this match.
against two.
Braun
Oh, yeah,
Breaker.
we'll get
Mm,
there. There's time. We'll get there
mm.
because he can still be the champion going into Rumble and
Yes,
not be champion by the time we get to Chamber. Chamber's
that
in
is
Chicago.
that is very
Chambers in
true.
Chicago.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right. Something about events surrounding cages in Chicago and CM Punk. Yeah, that's a thing that all came together. Yep,
Yeah.
that's fine. But no, what was I gonna say? Immediately, we were talking about it a second ago, but Ripley and Io versus Roxy and Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
You're talking about like building up characters, building up stories. That story writes itself, and it's something they can slot into
Oh,
very
yeah, I'm not
easily.
talking about,
We
like, tag team defenses and all that. I'm just
Oh, I
saying as
know.
far as individuals go, like, it's really
Oh, as far as
hard to.
individuals go, you're absolutely correct. But I'm just saying, in a time where we're going to be looking for some people to
Yeah,
get into some stories, that's a nice, easy one
that's
that
a
they can
great
slot
one.
into.
No,
And the other thing about it
absolutely.
as well, Kabuki Warriors are going to want those titles back. Charlotte and Alexa
Mhm.
have sort of a tentative friendship with Rhea and Io. There's also Bailey
Lyra.
and Lyra that we were talking about. There's also
Yes.
Nia Jackson, Lash Legend that we were talking about. You could do, they did it once with the guys. You could do a 6-team women's tag team championship elimination chamber.
Absolutely. They had the 6
There's a lot of
teams at
bodies
the
in
end of
there.
that Raw. They
There's a
could they
lot,
could
there's a lot
do
of
a
bodies in there.
6-woman, 6-team TLC match as well. I like the chamber idea better, but still, it's just the point that I thought they were gonna do great things with the women's division for the tag side, and then they had all these women, tag teams, powerhouses, close out that
Yep.
show, and we were like, "Holy shit!" There was 6 teams there. What an
There were 6 of
incredible.
them. Jesus.
And then it was like no follow-up for weeks. The Kabuki Warriors just kept losing singles matches. So,
Yeah.
I don't
There's
know.
there is but the thing about it, like, there is a story to tell with the Kabuki Warriors as well, because even when they were champions, you've got the whole dynamic of Asuka, like, sort of little sistering, Kyrie the whole time.
Yeah.
I predict that potentially, instead of them getting back in the tag title hunt again, I predict that ramps up now with the frustration of them losing the titles, and you get Kyrie, finally not snapping, but like, enough of this shit. And
Yeah.
you do Kyrie Asuka, and like that's not going to be a bad match.
No. I could see
And
that
they've been
happening in
building,
it
and
like a
they've been
Mania,
building
but
that in the background the whole time. If you
true.
break up if you break up two teams at once, Kyrie and Liv versus Roxanne and Asuka.
That could work.
I mean, it would be a fun match. I'm not saying that that's a story that makes the most sense, but speaking of stuff that I thought was going to happen and didn't happen, and I was kind of okay with it happening. Punk retained his title against Braun Breaker in a really fun match.
He was good. Scary at one point, but good. I don't know what
Gary
they
at
were
one point
going for because Punk's
for the
legs were
Rana.
yeah, because Punk was not supposed to take that move. You could tell his legs were still on the outside of the turnbuckle, not the inside.
Yeah,
So it was always supposed to be like a crash and burn moment, I guess, for Braun. And I think he just either Punk didn't grab him, like maybe it was supposed to be a power bomb. It was some type of reversal though, and because Punk was not even moving to take it when he went
I
forward.
don't,
Like
I don't, I don't want to, I don't want to speculate. I can tell you what I think it looked like, but also, again, it's one of those we don't do what they do. I don't want to speculate too much.
yeah,
It looked to me like it was one of the where you go for the Rana and the person manages to hold on to the top turnbuckle and basically the person gets thrown off. And if it was somebody lighter than Braun Breaker, they would get thrown off, but still somehow land on their feet. And it would be all like 5 seconds of clapping for the athleticism. And then you would go for the second time.
yeah.
I think even though it was supposed to be a block, I think there was an either Punk didn't get there in time or Breaker got there too soon. I don't want
Yeah.
to assign blame. That's
No,
not
but
what we're doing.
there was something off, and Breaker
Yeah.
landed doing basically a push up. So had he not, he would have come down straight on his head and neck.
The amount,
And
okay, I will say between this and a couple of times in NXT and War Games, the amount of times Braun Breaker's almost landed on his head is
he's running out of bump
it's
chances,
it's
like to
it's
get away
it's
with.
not
Like
great. It's not great.
no,
Yeah,
it's happened way too frequent, more than anybody should be risking it.
yeah. I do think though, like even as they recovered from the botch, the second one that everybody's calling a botch wasn't a botch.
No, that
The
was
dive to the outside where Punk ate shit. Punk ate shit because he went for a dive and Breaker blasted him in the face.
yeah,
Pause.
that was the whole point behind it. I don't know why
That was
people
the
think that
point.
that's a botch. Like they just
Well,
missed
because
the
they
entirety
want to
of
shit
what.
on Punk.
Yeah,
Like, the bigger story, and I'm going to be saying this a couple of times when we get to NXT as well. The
yes,
bigger story here is Braun Breaker in the main event world title picture didn't look a bit out of place.
no,
Uh, they did have some vision stuff at some point. I do like, separate from this match almost, I do like the fact that they've solidified Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Penta as a unit
yeah,
to go after the vision, because that just seems like obviously Dragon Lee and Penta would have immense respect for Rey Mysterio. Just fuck around and do some big guy, little guy tags and trios and whatnot. That's you can play with that all the way to Mania if you really want to.
yeah.
Um, Punk got to deck Heyman finally,
Yeah,
so that was
finally.
good.
It makes you feel good, right?
It was like I wish I had more to say about it. Like there was botches, they recovered from the botches. The second
Yeah.
botch wasn't a botch.
No.
We managed to build another sort of side story on the side without taking away from the match. The side story got rid of all the interference, so it went back to being a one-on-one match. We got a finish, sort of as clean as you're gonna get in a Vision match.
Yeah.
Like it didn't blow my socks off, but there's nothing that this match didn't do.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only other thing I was gonna say
You're
is
not wrong. That's really it. Like I'm trying to think back and replay the match in my head while you asked that. Honestly, there's nothing that the match didn't do, but it didn't cover any new ground to the point where I'm like, oh, okay.
well,
In a story sense,
it covered the new ground of this is Breaker's moment, not to become champion, but to plant your flag and say I
in the
belong in
main
this
event,
picture.
yeah.
And I think he did that. Like, is there
See, I
anything?
felt like he already belonged because of how I viewed him in War Games and whatnot, and the fact that he fought most of the main event in War Games and ended up winning and looking
Oh yeah,
badass.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
So
I mean, like the main,
I
like that's
totally
why I said the
understand
main
your
event,
point. It's just to me,
slash
yeah.
world title picture.
Yes,
Like
yes,
this is the first time he's been in a world title match,
yeah.
and you're not. It's a backwards way to look at it, but you're not in the world title picture until you've been in a world title match.
No, no, you're not wrong, and that's why I
There's all
said,
kinds of people that belong in that picture. Like
yeah,
Sami Zayn's never been a world champion, but he's fought for the world title and he belongs there. And he's proven
exactly.
himself in those type of scenarios. Breaker came to the dance and he danced.
And
And so when
he looked great, and that's the
and
thing.
when he comes back again, and when because he will sooner than later, I'm sure. When he comes back again, there's not going to be the question of, okay, this is the first time we're seeing him in a world title match. Does he belong there? No, he
Yeah,
belongs there because we've already seen him there. That's what
exactly.
it achieved. I think that achievement means more than if
A
he
great
won,
match.
because I wouldn't have minded if he won, but there's always the risk of if he won, it could come off the back end feeling like, oh, they just wanted to do something shocking.
Yeah, and
He's established, he belongs, he's got Heyman by his side, which doesn't hurt at all.
we already had
Um,
multiple title changes too throughout the night, so
yeah, and that was the other thing as well. Like they kind of braced you for it. It's like all the other titles that have been fought for tonight have changed hands. Something's going to stay where it is.
yeah, something's gotta
Um,
hold on.
But something worth noting, and this is something we usually say more about NXT, but if you look back throughout the card, I mean, yeah, we had some backstage stuff and we had the Javon Evans news during the commercial break and all that. But if you look at the main event of Breaker versus Punk, it was the only men's match on 2.5 hours of Monday Night Raw.
Yes,
Everything else revolved around the women's division.
and
And
everything else was subpar, honestly, except even the women's tag match wasn't bad, but it
yeah.
wasn't great either, and that's surprising to say, but that's the
Yeah.
truth.
I enjoyed it, but you have to
We've
go a
seen it
long way.
so many times. That's the problem with
Yeah,
that. We
that's
and that was the problem with like Punk and Breaker. I felt like because I've seen them face off quite a few
in various
times now.
combinations. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so
I think that's a big shot in the arm for the women's tag match. Um, I'm a huge fan of Ripley. Everybody knows this.
yes.
Maybe I'm a little bit biased. Maybe I'm a whole lot biased.
No, I don't view you as being
She
biased with it because honestly,
she walks into that show and it's like, oh my god, she's the coolest chick there. It's like, no, 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 no. She's the top 5 coolest people there. Period. To
yes.
the point, that like more towards your point. Like, yes, we've seen these combinations before.
Hmm.
If one of the ingredients in that combination is Rhea Ripley, I don't care. Give it to me again.
Yeah. Oh,
Like she's got
I
that
have
element
that,
of it.
and
I'm
I
not
don't mind
negating what
Rhea
you're saying. I'm
Ripley.
just saying it doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, but thankfully you have that at least to go off of. Like that that's
Yeah.
good that you have that connection, that feeling, that level
Yeah.
of connection is really what I'm going for.
The same thing, and
And
the same thing goes for the live match, because again, it was kind of like the Punk Breaker match in the sense of, no, it didn't set the world on fire, but there's nothing else that they could have done. And it was, hey, here's this other character in Liv Morgan who may be a step behind Rhea Ripley, but right up there with the crowd's just happy to see her. And that
yes,
carries the match
and that's something
to the
special. That's
point where
important.
you like you said about Lyra, we don't really know what the fuck is going on with Lyra. Lyra was the solid other body in the ring. I know that sounds derogatory. She's the other body in the ring so that the story could be Liv is back and this is her match.
Yes.
So that's great news. Ripley being a champion along with Io is great news. It doesn't hurt Asuka and Kyrie, the fact that they lost the belts, because Asuka's still great. Kyrie's still great. They've got a story between the two of them, and they can go feud with whoever they want to as well.
Yeah.
Even though it was in the commercial, Javon did get his official call up to Raw off the back of people like Cardona and Trick Williams and possibly Jordan Grace coming to SmackDown last week.
Yeah, which is great for
The
him.
Stephanie stuff is interesting. I'm hoping that Raquel and what she's doing clicks with me as much as it's clicking with other people soon.
Yeah.
Becky and Maxine was a shit show, but they can only go up from here. We've already talked about the fact that Jericho wasn't there. It's fine. People are still if you don't get what you wanted, you can spend more time like anticipating what you want.
Yeah.
And the fact that even though it had its ups and downs, it was mostly a ladies show. And with the amount of focus they were putting on it, being the 1 year anniversary, being this big celebration with Netflix and whatever, the fact that it was mostly a ladies show says something. I'm sorry, but it does.
No, certainly, and that's a great thing. I just wish it was better. If that
Yeah,
if
that's
that could
fine.
be said, I
I think by the
just
time we get to next week where it doesn't have the pressure of being the anniversary and oh my god, all the eyes are on us. And yes, they will get rid of the trappings of the Stranger Things themed show.
yeah.
And you can sort of do a okay, we had our big party, now let's get to work. Like you can go into next Monday with that attitude.
True. I think one of the issues coming up now is that everything is not live coming up because it's all going to be overseas again. So we're
Yeah.
back into
Well,
that.
it's not taped, it's just time shifted.
Yes.
Like the taped shows was a problem over the holiday break.
Yeah. But
The
still,
time
there's a lot of
shifted
people that
shows
aren't
aren't.
going to be able to watch
Of
them
course.
live,
Of
and
course,
that's
I'm one of
always,
them.
yeah. So that's always a detriment to the show and what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's still way better than knowing what happened at the show a week in advance.
Oh, certainly. I mean, beggars
Yeah,
can't be choosers in that regard.
it's
I'm just saying there's less interest in reviews, there's less interest all around because people are just
oh, yeah.
ready to read a spoiler sheet instead of actually tuning in.
But you know what? To be fair, that kind of thing, like there's less interest in reviews, there's less interest in conversation, is more of a detriment to guys like us than people that are just watching the show to watch the show.
Oh,
Like
certainly, and
I
it
have
takes
this.
away from people actually watching the show casually, that
Yeah.
that takes away from the overall viewership, and that
Yeah,
gets
but
risky
I
too.
have to remember that as well. Like, not everybody is like us and watching it to
No,
review it,
certainly not,
watching
no.
it to talk about it. The one thing, and this is not a dig at AEW. I just found it to be a really interesting conversation when AEW first started. When Excalibur would do his thing at the end of Dynamite, and he would like say the entire card for the following week in like one breath because there was so much to
Yeah,
say.
he
To it.
would spiel it out.
We need to let you know every single thing. And they're like, "Oh, WWE doesn't do that." I'm like, the only reason you would want pay-per-view is different. Let me be clear, but a week-to-week show, the only reason you want to know the entire card a week in advance is because you're probably doing a preview podcast.
Yeah,
That's not a person tunes in to watch the show to see how the show is. And so,
exactly.
and it's valid if that's how you choose to consume it. I mean, hell, we're doing it right now,
Well, it's
but
also
that's not.
people. I mean, you don't need to know the entire card. Granted, yeah, the only thing that benefits, but there are people that like, oh, maybe they live there, they were gonna go and buy
Mhm.
tickets, but they don't know who's gonna be on the card, and they don't want to risk it. That kind of
Oh,
thing.
I'm not saying don't advertise anything. But like
Yeah,
this past week's Raw, if it was in Toronto, first
yeah,
of all, let's be real, I probably would have gone anyway. But if you tell me Punk and Breaker are fighting for the title and it's a Stranger Things theme, that's all I
yeah,
need.
exactly. You're
Because
you're
I want to be
in.
like everybody acts like the like impromptu matches are like the worst thing. Oh, it's an example of bad booking. No, it's an example
No,
of hey, something we thought wasn't going to happen happened, and we went with it. And we're going to talk about that in NXT in a second.
see, I always took the impromptu match issue, not being that it came with a match, but that because it made it look like, oh, you had no main event plan for the rest of the night, really? Like that was your plan? You were just gonna wing it? Because now you're like, this is the main event. And it's not like they shifted
I've
things,
heard
but
people make that argument,
yeah.
and I get it, but I cannot accurately describe to you how much I don't care.
Like to
If
me, it
okay,
doesn't bother
do you
me
remember?
because
Okay,
you could just
do
be
you
like,
remember
oh, I
when
took our main event and moved it. Like it never seemed like an issue to me. Like to me, I thought that was a silly point to argue
do you
when
remember the
there's so
one
many
point
things that are problems.
when AEW was in its infancy, right? And I spoke to you and I spoke to Guapo because Guapo was kind of like my AEW guy at the time.
Yeah.
And there was one pay-per-view, and I messaged both of you and I said, I think we might be fucked. And it was the night that they double debuted Adam Cole and Bryan
Yeah.
Danielson,
And they
right?
had everybody come
Now,
in.
imagine they didn't do that. Imagine they started off Dynamite with the surprise debut of Adam Cole, and his debut speech, whatever you want to call it, gets interrupted by the surprise debut of Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Tony Khan comes out, hey, isn't this great? Isn't this great? These guys are going to fight in the main event tonight. Nobody would say that that's bad.
Yeah. Oh, no. No, certainly not.
Sorry.
No one would complain about that.
Nobody would say that that's bad. It's bad if it's not the company that you like. That's pretty much what it is.
Oh, at
Because
times, certainly people do get upset wrongly and unjustifiably so. But I
the
think
whole
a lot
idea
of it has
if
been like,
you made an impromptu match, then that must mean you didn't plan anything for the.
see, I
You're
always just took it
watching a
as you
show
moved your
about
main event around. You had a main event, and
But
guess
this is the
what? They
thing.
got bumped.
This is the thing. This is the thing that people don't get, and I forget who said this to me. They said it to me years ago, and I think it was a quote from an interview. Wrestling is not a show about wrestling.
Yes.
Wrestling is a show about wrestling.
It's from
It's the Muppets.
no, but the Max Landis, he did the episode. He had a 30-minute like narrative that's acted out almost like a Broadway play, and it's amazing. And it's called "Wrestling Isn't Wrestling." And it shows
Wrestling
how,
isn't wrestling is great.
yeah.
But here's the thing, though, right?
But
Is if
you're
it's a
right
sport-
though. Yeah,
If it's a sport, then all you would see would be the matches, right?
yeah,
But it's not. It's a show about people putting on a sport. It's a show like in the baseball game, you don't follow the general manager to the shitter and see who he gets in a fight with on the way back to the dugout.
yes.
Like it's a show about people trying to put on a wrestling show.
exactly.
And that's so if you didn't get what was advertised for the show in kayfabe, that's part of the show in real life.
That's why I
and
always said
people
I don't
don't
like
get it.
botches, because like botches aren't botches. It just meant like a move didn't work. Like that's
Mhm.
real. You want to think wrestling's real, right? You in pretend, but in kayfabe, you're saying it's all real. Well, then
If
botches
it was
aren't
real, it
botches.
wouldn't be pretty. If it was real, it wouldn't be pretty.
Exactly.
And what did they say in the first Jurassic Park? We had to fill in the DNA with a little bit of frog DNA because there was gaps. And if we cloned the dinosaurs perfectly, a lot of them wouldn't look the way they look. Thank you, Dr. Wong. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, these fictional people that we've all encountered in our fandom lives are winding me up, and they're not even here. Are the bitchy fans in the room with us right now?
They might be.
Anyways, switching over to NXT. And NXT, again, well, like I said about Raw, a lot of stuff happened.
Yes.
Holy shit.
I'm gonna let you talk about NXT, but I gotta go ahead and mention that Raw had the best segment of all time.
Oh no.
When they went ahead and completely just like, I felt like I honestly, just being a wise ass, I like this episode of NXT, but
All right.
I think you and I are going to have a few conflicting points, but a few of the same like stances. So I'm curious to see where you fell on this.
Oh,
because
I think I said it before we started recording. There's a lot of stuff on NXT that I liked, but if somebody said they didn't like it, I can't argue with them.
yeah. And that's
I've
why
kinda
I'm
had to
curious
move-
to hear more.
I kind of had to move some things around because they did a couple of long form shows long form storylines throughout the night, and I'm trying to sort of rejig them so that they make sense.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to run this down and then we'll talk about it. The
Perfect.
entire picture surrounding the Women's North American Championship picture. Blake Monroe is supposed to get a shot at the title that she lost to Thea Hale that she wasn't supposed to lose. Big controversy. Oh my God, there was a botch. Attacks her at ringside, attacks her with a bunch of weapons, beats her down. The match never starts. Go to the back. What's her name? Ava. Got no surname. She's the Rock's daughter. Booker of NXT, Booker and Cooker of the Year, and all the other bullshit that Adam Wilborn says on Welcome. I love Adam Wilborn. This is not Sidgwick we're talking about here. Like Monroe gets booted from the building.
Yeah.
We then move on to I'm going to give Ava credit for something in a second too. Paxley and Izzy have their match. Paxley reaches her final what do you want to say, catharsis, gets the revenge victory on the friend.
Yeah, she achieved her final form.
There we go. Fucking tuck my train of thought out. Okay, so Paxley gets the win. She's won over Izzy Dame. She's got her revenge over the culling. The guys weren't out there with Izzy. It was a one-on-one affair. All good. Paxley's living on cloud 9, right?
Yes.
Thea Hale in the back, very upset that Blake Monroe's been kicked out of the building. She needs to prove herself. She needs to, get the foot off her back or whatever the expression is. She says, okay, if I can't defend against Blake Monroe, I'm going to have an open challenge. Everybody comes out. Tatum Paxley
Everybody.
comes in with the fucking chainsaw.
Yes.
While
I
that's
forgot to
happening,
bring this up while it happened too. Love that moment.
Izzy comes from the back, however, pause, and jumps her. Thea Hale, a little melodramatic, I will say, cutting a promo in the ring,
Yeah,
thanking the
teary-eyed
fans.
and
I owed you guys a title match tonight, so we're gonna do an open challenge. Has a really decent match with Izzy for one person that's been beaten down earlier in the night and one person that's lost a match earlier in the night. Bottom line, Izzy Dame beats a prone Thea Hale for the Women's North American Championship, right?
Yes.
Here's the thing. This rocked for everybody. It was a mess. It was a well-planned mess.
Yes.
And it rocked for everybody. Blake Monroe, here's my bullet points. Blake Monroe is getting a call-up. So you didn't want her to lose again when she wasn't even supposed to lose the first time.
Yeah.
So she's now going to say, I flipped out. I beat the fuck out of an NXT champion, and I left on my own terms. Whenever she shows up, wherever she ends up, right?
Makes sense.
Thea Hale is over as fuck. Tatum Paxley won her feud with Izzy Dame and is over as fuck. So giving the belt to Izzy instead and setting up two prime baby faces to chase her immediately, you've given birth to an entirely different women's North American title division in one night.
Love it, right?
Now your take. You're going to tell me I'm wrong or something.
No, I thought that they made the best out of what they could. They had no idea that Blake was being called up apparently this soon. She wasn't with the previous announced people, and everybody else was kind of like, okay, they're going. And the last person they knew for sure was Jordan Grace. And then from there, it was like, oh, Blake's coming up next week. Like we're taking her now. And instead of giving anybody time to manage or process things, they're just like, here's what's happening, here's what's going down, and you're going to shut up and take it. And Cornette's talked about it, Regal's talked about it, Shawn Michaels has talked about it. It's the nature of the beast when it comes to NXT. You know, you make great talent, but then you make talent so good that they take them. And now you got to start all over. And it's like, no, I totally get what he means because you know, he's made all these stars and he's like, and you don't know what they're going to do with them on the main roster. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. So it is a bit of a conundrum, but no, I feel like what they did here was certainly they made a new women's champ instantly in Izzy. Tatum gets to feud with her. So that works. You can still have the open challenges. And it also keeps everybody else looking fairly strong. Even Thea, you know, yeah, she was emotional and you can say what you want there, but she still went ahead and took care of business the best she could. You know, she was a fighting champion.
She still got the shit kicked out of her and then offered up an open challenge that could have been anybody on the roster. If we didn't know that Jordan Grace was getting called up to the main roster as well, I thought for a brief second in my head that Jordan was going to turn heel and just like David
thank God I'm not alone. I thought I was the only one that felt that. I didn't bring it up because
she was
like,
back there and she was the one that
silly.
pushed Ava and was like, look, if she wants to defend her title, let her defend her title. And I'm like, you're licking your chops, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. Is Jordan Grace going to take the North American title to SmackDown? Because remember, that's not unprecedented.
No.
Because Dominic Mysterio carried the men's North American Championship to Raw.
That he did.
I mean, Dominic Mysterio is just a great representative with all the belts. Fine,
yeah.
don't worry about it.
I mean, but
like
holy
I say,
hell.
Thea looks like a badass in the sense that she got clocked, still defended her title anyway, fought valiantly. It wasn't a 2-minute squash and lost to Izzy. Izzy suffered a loss earlier in the night and got to make a comeback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
and Blake, as for the character that she's trying to play, left bitchy, left, you know, obviously smacking the shit out of a well-liked babyface, but also not only did she beat her up physically, she beat her up mentally because Thea needed the match because everybody was calling her a fluke and she needed to beat Blake a second time to prove that she wasn't a fluke. And now she won't have that because Blake's not there.
Yeah. Now, right away,
I think it works for everybody.
Here's the thing. I had people saying, oh, this is ridiculous. Izzy lost earlier. Why would you do that? I'm like,
it's an open challenge.
But here's the thing. I'm like, here's my question to you. Do you not recall? Because they're like, this doesn't work. It's stupid. She already lost. I'm like, do you like Seth Rollins? They're like, yeah, why? I'm like, heist of the century. Oh, love it.
Oh,
he lost to Randy Orton earlier in the night with the stomp into the RKO. One of my favorites of all time.
when Edge had a match earlier on a pay-per-view and then didn't he take Kofi Kingston out of the Elimination Chamber
Yes.
and went on to win?
Yeah. So, it's
It's
happened.
but
It's
like,
not
okay, qualification.
unprecedented.
Okay, I
And we can
get,
go on, qualifiers,
because you
but
can.
yeah.
Here's the thing about that, right? Here's the annoying thing about wrestling fans, and I include myself in this before anybody loses their mind, right? You start with the grain of a good point, and then you show yourself to be ignoring every other point. If
Yep.
you want to say and I'm not saying like an AEW ratings point of view, but like if you want to say this person just lost a match tonight, how do they possibly deserve a chance at a championship? That would be an argument
Yep. If it
if it
wasn't an
wasn't a
open
fucking open challenge.
challenge, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's almost more annoying when they come in with half a point than
Then
when they come in with no point. Because when
thank
they come in
you.
with no point, then it's just like, go fuck off.
Yeah. You don't even have an argument, but
And
now you're
also,
like,
like,
guys.
and it's the whole like, well, she didn't really beat the champion. She found a champion that was emotionally, psychologically vulnerable, physically vulnerable because she'd been attacked by a chair earlier on in the night and thrown into steps and whatnot.
The barricade. I love that they had the caution tape around the barricade
And
for the rest of the night.
not even just that she was fucked with mentally and psychologically and emotionally and had been attacked earlier physically. She also attacked her from behind.
Yes.
Like, Izzy's a
Like,
champion in like, I don't want to say she's a champion in name only because she took a challenge and she won.
Yes.
So
but
by the logic of wrestling, she is a champion.
yeah.
But
the culling really made her the champ there. We know that. We saw
facts.
that.
It's facts.
It's not deniable.
There could have been a nice little moment there. Like, I know Chase U is not really a thing anymore, but like if in the last stages of the match before Thea finally had to give it up, if like Mr. Chase had shown up in the corner, it would be the appropriate NXT kind of cheesy callback type thing. They didn't do that. He was shown in some backstage segment.
I wish, because like I said again, forethought. They're like, all right, we don't know much. Blake's leaving. What do we do? How do we handle this quickly? And I that's why I said I appreciate the chicken salad, chicken shit scenario, but
and we made the Vince comparison in our last pod. I think when we were talking about AAA and booking decisions and that one pay-per-view where everybody was sick. So Angle was in the Shield and Balor was in the Bullet Club for a night and blah, 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 right?
Bray and Roman had the measles or whatever shit.
Oh, yeah. But I do think like there is something to be said for when WWE, and I don't want to say gets put in a tough spot because they put themselves in a tough spot, right? Like, let's be honest about that.
Yes.
They put themselves in a tough spot, but when they put themselves in a tough spot, they also usually come out with some of the coolest shit.
That's very true as well.
This as a one-night story to completely flip this whole division is a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
This is my favorite thing of the night, other than one segment that we're going to talk about in a second. Sticking with the ladies though, JC Jane retained against Kendall Gray. Again, it's very much it's the NXT version of what I said about Braun Breaker. Kendall Gray's awesome. People already love her. She made a hell of a showing. She showed that we knew she belonged there before this match. Let's be real for a second.
But she cemented herself in that upper echelon of the women's talent because it's such
I hate to say it this way.
Deep waters too,
I hate to say it this way, but she needs to drop that Evolve title.
Oh, absolutely. That thing is an albatross around her neck at this point. Like, it's just
because even if she doesn't get another rematch right away, which could happen because apparently JC Jane is also being called up sooner than later, which is kind of why I'm surprised that she didn't lose here. Even if she doesn't get back into that picture right away, her and Ren Sinclair are an awesome team, and the way they bounce off of each other is fucking great.
So one of the things I was originally told was that Oba wasn't going to drop the title because they were going to make it look that way, to just relinquish it. And instead it was going to be JC who did that. And she left the group behind without telling them and just goes right up to the main roster. And that'll be a point for her and Fallon to feud at later times when Fallon's up there. Like, well, how did you just leave us?
Oh, kind of like Bayley being the last 4 horsewomen left behind.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so,
I could buy that, honestly.
And I was like, that sounds really cool. And then later on, I was told, like, that's been scrapped. they're dropping the belt.
They're doing the
The
Oba thing.
Obafemi thing. And I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I was going to make a small video and I was like, that sounds like bullshit. I can't picture Obafemi wins, then drops the belt. Like he's going to win and then just be like, oh, there's no one left. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll talk about that in a second. I have
we're
thoughts.
not there yet, but I'm just saying, like, so I early on thought like, oh, we're getting somewhere, like that would have been. So I had hoped that something happened with JC, and that could have been great. Like if she won there, and hey, look, I did everything I need to. I have a chance to win gold up top. I'm going. Think about who she would JC being called into Julia's group right now. People wanted her with Chelsea Green, but with Chelsea, you'd be more of a comedy act. I imagine
my thing
her,
is here,
Kiana
right?
James. I mean, she doesn't need to be in a group, but to come out anyways.
This is my point. There's a part of me that, because she was one of the sidekicks in a group and then kind of immediately got thrown into another group that got shuffled into another group.
Yeah.
I hope she stays with Fatal Influence, but if they don't, I want to see her on her own.
I totally get
because
that.
we just haven't had it.
I would almost like her and Julia to work together for like 3-4 weeks and then it just dissolves, a la AJ and Chris Jericho. Remember Y2AJ?
And this is something I've wanted to see for ages with various people, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see somebody use a main roster person to get there and then like drop them the same night. Take somebody like the Miz, right? Miz with a heater is always good, right? Miz with the Big Show, Miz with even when Miz was with Jericho or whatever. But like anytime you get like somebody like the Miz with a big guy standing behind him, right? So I don't know. Take Josh Briggs, who we're going to talk about in a second as well. Don't worry about that. But say the Miz came out and said, I've been fucked with, because he got fucked with like on the very first episode of SmackDown. He's got his issues with Joe Hendry. All kinds of things are happening, right?
Yes.
He calls up Josh Briggs and he says, you know what? I'm tired of getting fucked with. I'm tired of getting screwed around. The system's all out to get me. I need somebody that's got my back. He introduces Josh Briggs, and Josh Briggs, mid-promo, clocks him and says, thanks for opening the door for me. I'm here now. Go fuck yourself. I would love to see that. On day one, somebody that's brought in just because, you can be a convenient bit of muscle.
Yeah, you're my lackey.
I'm going to be way more than that. Like a speed run version of MJF and Wardlow.
Yeah.
On opening night.
Or Carmelo and Miz that they failed with.
Yeah. Or JC. Yeah, but that was designed. They put them together so that we could say, yeah, they're going to break.
Yeah. It was definitely designed that way, but I'm saying how much the story failed.
Now, I'm not saying JC Jane's a heater, but if Julia was like, hey, I just brought you in, you're going to help me hold on to my title, and she signs her contract, she says, actually, no, I'm here for your title, and clocks her with the clipboard or something.
Yeah.
Thanks for opening the door for me. Now I'm going to take your title and I'm going to fuck off. And get Fallon, or not Fallon, get Kiana James out of there. But like JC Jane and Julia in a heel versus heel who can be a bigger bitch match.
Yes.
Would be a lot of fun.
Yes.
It's like a lot of people are saying right now for like hard hitting matches, they want to see Jacob and Ilya go at it. I'm like, yeah, they'll kill each other. That's fine.
We know that's coming.
Okay. We will get to Oba in a second, I promise.
Yes.
But Jake, fuck me, I just love NXT sometimes.
Oh, cool. As do I.
Out comes Ethan Page, our reigning North American champion,
the one and only,
and half of the AAA mixed tag team champions. And of all people, he's interrupted by Jasper Troy. But Jasper Troy is interrupted by Josh Briggs. And Josh Briggs is interrupted by Stax and Ariana Grace. Stax and Ariana Grace are interrupted by Shiloh fucking Hill. And then Tavion kind of brought up the rear. And they all sort of shot barbs at each other, because in there you've got the North American champion, the AAA mixed tag team champion, the speed champion, and the TNA international champion. And they all kind of go at each other, and instead of dealing with any of them, Ethan Page kind of stirs the pot and makes everybody sort of hit on with everybody else. Eventually we get Tavion versus Jasper for the speed title next week. Shiloh Hill versus Stax for the TNA International Championship next
Yes.
week, which you know what? I'm not a real big math guy, but that leaves us with Ethan Page versus Josh Briggs
I
potentially for the North
think
American
so.
Championship. But it all breaks down into a brawl. Shiloh Hill knocks Stax out of the ring, and then he becomes Orange Cassidy with Tony Storm for a second.
For a second,
with
yeah.
Ariana Grace. He does the spin and the dip, and then he drops his fucking teeth.
Oh god, and I've done
I
that by
fucking love
accident.
NXT.
That
What?
I've dropped my teeth, my dentures out before by accident. You know, I had the palate tooth that he had for a while. Now I have the full fake ones, and I'm telling you,
I
you lean
fucking
over
love
and drop
NXT,
them.
man.
That was humiliatingly hilarious the way they planned that and executed it. It like fell down her cleavage, and she's just trying to like knock it off her without touching it. It was so funny and
Vince, okay,
so well timed. Vince would have died to see that thing.
since they've let Ariana and Stax, because they're engaged or married, one or the other, in real life, and, you know, congratulations to them in real
Yes.
life. But since they've played that up on TV, they've done the whole betrayal of her dad over in TNA when they did that massive cage match thing. Holy fuck, has she come into her own as a
Yeah,
character. I
really.
haven't seen her wrestle that much because she's been sort of like this liaison character, and now she's kind of in a managerial type role. But holy fuck, as a character, has she gone to 10 real quick.
Real quick, and she
Because
looks
Stax was one of those guys
fantastic.
that you thought maybe like once the family breaks up, he's going to kind of wander, because he was a great tag team guy. I think we said at one point he was like the hottest tag in wrestling when him and Tony were still tagging together.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to fly by the wayside. No, but instead they've put him into this the NXT Outlaws story on TNA. He beat Steve Macklin for the International Championship. He's
Yep.
got his wonderful fiance there carrying around the belt for her when she's not having teeth spat at her. Like, out of nowhere, they've become a fucking fantastic act.
And quickly too, like you said.
And you have to believe that WWE are going to put a bigger focus on that AAA mixed tag title, because look at all the pairings that they're putting. You got Rollins and Becky, you've got Punk and AJ, you've got Rhea and Priest, you've got Black and Zelina, you've got Ethan and Chelsea, you've got Stax and Ariana. Like, you there's a division there.
Yes.
And it's not
And a
like you'd have
great
to
one
throw tag
indeed.
teams together. Like, it already exists.
Yeah,
Like you got to believe if she hadn't turned heel and she was still in the LWO, like Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio would be like mixed tag team champions in AAA already,
oh, absolutely.
and it's a lot of fun. But this was just like, here's some characters we've got, and it all, even though there's other titles involved and not all of it's directly around him, you need a character like Ethan Page, who everybody thinks they can walk up to and slap, to
Yes.
hold this type of a segment together. Because it's
Mhm.
fun and it's funny and the characters are ridiculous. Stax is ridiculous. Shiloh Hill's ridiculous. Tavion's like he's borderline sort of athletic, happy to be there guy. Briggs is still not quite done cosplaying as the Undertaker, which is fine. Jasper Troy's wearing the Speed title as a necklace. It's fine.
Take
Don't worry
that
about it.
personal. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
That's what we need. Throw a AAA title in there as well. But Ethan being the straw that stirs the drink and not even being involved directly in the matches that were created out of this schmoz. This is, I'm sorry, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in TNA that could only happen in TNA.
Yes.
This is NXT's version of that, and it's good.
Absolutely.
And there's characters.
And what I love
Some
about
of them are weird.
Page is
Some of
his
them are weird.
improvs are so spectacular. He's so
Yeah.
goddamn funny with it. And you can tell, like, he just throws out these little quips. Like, you know, aren't you gonna
He's
call
the greatest North
911?
American ever. He's
Yes.
the greatest North American ever.
My favorite, when his car got stolen by Mr. Iguana, and he's like, "Aren't you gonna call 911?" And she's like, "What?" And tell him a reptile stole it, and he's like, "Yes." You know, just
Okay, sorry. This is a great segment. I've said everything that I need to say about it, but I have to backtrack a little bit, because I said I was going to give credit to Ava for something, or credit to the writing of the Ava character for something.
yes,
When the Blake Monroe and Thea Hale thing happened, and she was like melodramatically losing her shit backstage, kicking Blake out of the building and all that. The one little touch that everybody else has kind of brushed over and they don't think it's a big deal, but it is.
Mhm.
What did she do next? She went, she found a tech, she grabbed the tech's headphone, she got on with the production people and said, "Okay, this isn't happening anymore. This is this. I'm gonna need one of you guys to run the next package for this because I'm gonna push this match up." It
Yeah.
made it real. It's such a little touch, and
It
it
is a
took like
great
5 seconds,
overlooked
but
detail
it's
because I paid attention to that, but you're so right because that's something usually I whine and cry about, and then they do it, and I barely pay attention to it. But no, good on them for really like you said, making it realistic was the important part there,
because
and I
I do stick to
appreciate
what
it.
I say, like, I don't care about an impromptu match, I don't care about an impromptu segment, whatever like that, but for the people that it bothers more, that's a little bit of acknowledgement to those people that are gonna pull out that plot hole. And for a character like Ava, who everybody likes to shit on because, you know, how dare you be the Rock's daughter for
Yeah,
reasons.
for reasons.
It was a nice little touch, and it took like 5 seconds. And who else took advantage of that time that would have been spent on that match was Ricky Saints, who set the table for the night with his speech at the very beginning after the Blake match didn't happen, saying, "I'm Ricky Saints. I'm the fucking best. I used to think I needed NXT, and no, NXT needs me. Everybody knows they can't compete with me. That's why all these guys are going somewhere else." That was the first speech you heard that night.
Yeah.
And does that not set the table for what we saw at the end with Oba beating Leon Slater and then having his triumphant moment and then cutting to Ava and Robert Stone? I don't know. My God, did you see what Oba did? And then they go back to the ring and the belt's there. And obviously WWE.com confirmed it later on.
Yeah.
Obafemi has vacated the title. He's pursuing free agency, which is like their newest free term or whatever.
Yes.
But the whole idea that Obafemi kind of got his bluff card called by Ricky Saints at the beginning of the night by saying, "Yeah, all these people are going to leave because they don't want to deal with me." Because eventually he would have had to give Ricky Saints a rematch.
Yeah.
And
And
who is the only person in the arena when that spotlight hit that belt at the end of the show?
it's Ricky Saints, so
No, Tony D.
oh, Tony D was in the crowd. That's right. I forgot about
Yes.
that.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes.
So
I forgot he
we
was in
got
the
Blake.
audience because I was like, they really did nothing with him, and then I was like, "Oh, that's what we get." Okay.
Yeah. I think it was a nice little place setter because because you would say that, right? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, these are people that are moving up because they have achieved past NXT. A dickhead like Ricky Saints would want to diminish that as much as possible and say, "Yeah, they're not really moving up. They're just moving away from me." Like, every dickhead in NXT should say that.
Yeah, they really should because
That should be the coping mechanism of every, like,
everybody.
nervous dickhead. No, but a babyface wouldn't cut that promo.
No, I'm saying everybody that's a heel. Yeah, everybody just
Everybody
go
that's a
for it.
heel, okay.
Like you
But
said,
here's the
each
thing.
one of them's got to just go down that line and go for it.
On the one hand, the whole idea that got tossed around after Tuesday, "Oh, like, what the fuck? They don't know what they're doing. They've completely gutted NXT. NXT is gonna die again. Ha ha ha." Because we've had Lash Legend go up,
Yeah.
Jordan Grace, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, probably or definitely Blake Monroe, probably JC Jane. Another one that's in the mix is the girl that already has 2 contracts, so why not give her another one? And that's Lola Vice. Fantastic.
Yep.
I do think that they're gonna use Javon Evans being on the main roster as an excuse to slide Leon Slater over there occasionally as well,
And
which is
apparently Lola
cool for him.
Vice, another one that they're calling up as well. Not Kalani
That's what yeah,
Jordan, but Lola Vice. I'm surprised.
yeah, but
Not Kalani.
Kalani Jordan and Ethan Page and Ricky Saints are the ones that aren't getting called up that are gonna benefit most from the call up. And
Yeah, because they're
that's something
gonna
I wanna touch on
be
in a second.
okay.
I do think because we've got TNA debut next week and they're going on AMC, it's gonna be live for at least a couple of weeks. They've got the pay-per-view. The working deal between the two of them is still going. If you use Javon Evans as an excuse to sort of keep the team going with Leon Slater, and that gets Leon Slater onto Monday Night Raw, that's a higher rate of like not counter programming, co-promotion
Yes.
than having him on NXT. I love NXT, but Raw's a bigger show. You put Leon Slater on Raw, and you say, "Oh yeah, by the way, this guy's got a pay-per-view match coming up this coming Sunday, or whatever the case may be." That's advertising. That's a hell of a
Absolutely.
lot of advertising. But going more to the point that I wanted to make.
Yeah, that redirect is
As a,
massive, just having that
yeah.
flow from one to the other to the other. So,
But as I say, Lash Legend, Jordan Grace, Trick Williams, Obafemi, Leon Slater, Blake Monroe, JC Jane. Oh my God, they've gutted everything. They've gutted everything. They've gutted everything. North American Championship title picture as of now is at least Ethan Page, Stax, Shiloh Hill, Josh Briggs.
yeah. It's more
Women's
stacked than
North
it was, it felt like, up until
wi-
yesterday, so
women's North American title picture, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Thea Hale, throw in Ren Sinclair, Ariana Grace, and Kendall Gray,
yeah.
right? Women's title picture. I mean, I have to say JC because she still technically has it, but Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, possibly Fallon Henley if she sticks around, Lola Vice if the call up rumor isn't true, Kendall
Yeah.
Gray if she's not going to be in the North American title picture or if she's going to go back to Evolve. NXT title picture right now. I'm kind of cheating here because I think Ethan Page is going to drop that title that he has shortly and move back up to the main title. But Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, Tony D'Angelo, Joe Hendry.
Yeah, that seems like everybody,
And that's to
and
say nothing of your mid cards, your lower mid cards, your factions, your tag teams. I mean, Hank and Tank are there. OTM is there. Dark State is still a thing. Oh, I got to ask you about one more thing before we go. I know I've run way longer than I meant to.
oh, no, but
What about Elio Lafleur,
I know the French
the French luchador?
That's interesting,
Or
so
one of the people over on Wrestling for Life coined him the Fruitchador.
yeah. I like that one.
I got
Yay.
nothing, but I'm intrigued.
I'm curious as well, so we'll see what comes of it,
I love
but
how most of his video package was stuff like in the past 6 months from AAA.
yes.
We can make our own video packages. We can make our own video packages for quote unquote brand new people.
Yes, for new luchadors. I wonder if it's someone
I
under
think
the
it's a lot of fun.
mask as a joke in the gimmick like type thing,
Yeah,
like they're donning a new gimmick, or is it a new star entirely? You never quite know
yeah.
for sure with NXT.
I don't know. NXT did a lot of stuff, and some of it was weird. It's the NXT we know and love, for better and worse. Raw uh, did
Raw,
some stuff,
yeah, Raw's trying at least. I'll give him that much, but
and SmackDown this Friday we have the 3 stages of hell match.
yes. How
Drew
does
and
Drew
Cody.
lose this? I mean, it
I
feels like if he does, because he even came up with an interview and basically saying, like, if I lose this, I don't know who I am anymore. And is he wrong by saying that? Because it feels like, yeah, I mean, what a major detriment that's going to be if they
I'm
don't
going to
have him
go
win.
to I'm going to go to what I said before. Drew wins the match. Over the course of the match, we slowly get a double turn. We come
Hmm.
out with babyface champion Drew McIntyre, and his first challenger is I'm becoming.
Mm. That would be nuts.
Anyways, quick production note for anybody that has lasted with us this long. Next week is the debut of TNA on AMC as well as Genesis. Jake and I will be doing a preview for both of those things because they kind of tie into each other. And then
Yes.
on Saturday, advertise this in other places already. I'm trying a new thing here. I'm just calling it pay-per-view hangouts. It's basically going to be a 10-hour open window. There's not going to be much on the screen to look at other than basically a logo, but it's going to be an open chat on the far side of the stream. Come on in, say hi, sign it like a guest book, put your reactions in there, put your previews, your predictions in there. Talk to anybody else that's in the chat. Yes, I'm basically ripping this off from the Wrestling for Life guys and what they did over Christmas, but I'm going to be doing it on pay-per-view days. I'm going to see if you guys like it. If you guys like it, I'll keep doing it. If you don't like it, I won't. That's just how
Gives
the
you a
whole
place to
YouTube
come and
game
discuss
works.
wrestling.
Come and discuss wrestling.
What's
If you're
going
there
on live.
beforehand, toss your predictions in. If you're there during, put your reactions in there. If you're there after, put your reviews in there. It's going to run from approximately 2:00 to midnight. So it will be running before, during, and after. Those of you that are watching along with the guys over at Wrestling for Life, you can come in, pop a quick hello, and then go hang out with the guys. Pretty sure Jake and I are going to be reviewing over on his channel after the show goes off the air. So
Yes,
come talk to
indeed.
us there as well. But It's just a new thing, and I'm trying a new thing. So come hang out in the hangout.
Show it some
That's a thing.
love. I'll be
Jake,
swinging
tell them.
by. Everybody from Into Somewhere will be there. And yeah, we'll be live after Genesis, but we'll also be live after the Impact debut as well. You're not
Yeah,
going to
we
want to
will.
miss it. So make sure you go ahead and check out youtube.com/Jake DeMarco and give us a subscribe there. If you'd like to, go ahead and support the show. You can become a member now as well. That unlocks some great perks for you. You get some emotes. And you get some early access to videos as well as priority access and game nights and prediction shows. So that's an option. If you'd like to go ahead and support, you can do so. Always go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Countdown Ended. We're on TikTok at into.somewhere on there. And go ahead and find us on Instagram at Countdown Ended as well. Thank you all so much again. And I really
Our buddy
appreciate
Jake's
you
all
having me
official
here.
and shit.
Right?
Our buddy Jake's all official and shit and giving me the rub. And for those of you that have been following me for however many years I've been doing this, slight little bit of a milestone for me. The channel just hit 1350 as of about a day and a half ago. So thank you, all of you that have been hanging out with me for this long. Thank you to Jake and all the other co-hosts I've had over the years that have done the horribly arduous job of making me sound like I know what I'm doing. And you guys know
buddy.
where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz. This has been Jake. This has been The State of Wrestling. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
That's hardcore. Yeah, you guys, buddy.